Hey there, happy Saturday. I was just going to record this, but I decided to stop in and do it here. Please don't worry if you're not here live. You had no intention of seeing me today, but I'm here. So I just wanted to show you a few things. I've been talking about that October is embelly month, and I realize that some of you think that that sounds like an intestinal situation. It doesn't. Embellies are sweet little SVGs that you cut using your Cricut. I use the Cricut Joy because I love it, and I love its size and how easy it is to do anything with because it goes super fast. But we've done this in the past, and I just thought it was time for a little refresher. I do love, and I have to figure out how to say this without sounding redundant, Love It, Chop It is a program that a Stampin' Up! Friend of mine in Australia created. Kylie put this together years ago because we hold on to designer series paper, you know, the pretty stuff, because it's so pretty we don't want to waste it. Well, this is a situation where you're going to want to make yourself a little kit using the ideas of Love It, Chop It, but we're going to go a little bit different in sizing because we are setting up kits that fit on our Cricut Joy. Now remember, Joy has a different size mat, and if you are not using a Joy, no worries. You can use your regular Cricut too. But if you're using a Cricut Joy, it has a smaller mat. It is only 4.5 wide by 6.5. But we don't need quite that much. So here's what we're going to do. I've made this cute little PDF that you can download. I will put it in, it'll be on the blog so that you can find it. Remember, the blog is super easy. It's just karamiller.com. I will put it there. I'll put a link to that at the end of this so that you can go find it. You can download and print this for yourself. What you're going to do is you're going to take your trimmer, because this is not a Cricut thing. This is just, let's get stuff ready, okay? So you're going to grab, I'm using this designer series paper, which is Painted Christmas. It's a 12 by 12. Love this. And then, so I've got this ready. Then, my directions. I need, of course, my white for my base, because that's what I use for all my bases of my cards. Just makes it easier, trying to keep it simple. And then you see that I have some cardstock here. Well, how did I know what I wanted? Well, I looked over here, and on the back, it tells me the coordinating colors that go with this paper. So I went into the closet and figured out, well, which ones do I have? I have Cherry Cobbler, I have Soft Seafoam, I have Crumb Cake, and Soft Suede. Those are the ones I'm going to use to build this kit. So, notice it says I'm going to start with a 12 by 12, and I'm going to cut them into 4 by 6 pieces. Now, here's where you have to decide. Are you making simple scrapbook layouts with me? Well, then you probably don't want to cut up all your 12 by 12, right? But we also know that some of this 12 by 12 just really doesn't work in a scrapbook layout. But it would work awesome in an embelly card. If you're wondering what an embelly is an SVG, and it's multi-layered, and it's designed to go either on a card front or as a little embellishment on a simple layout. That's where the name came from. I like to make up cute names for things. Yep. So this would be kind of busy for a scrapbook layout, but it would be perfect for a card. This is a little more sedate, and this might work for your background of your card, of your layout. Notice that there's 2 of each. So I'm going to take one for my simple scrapbooking and one for embellies. One for simples, one for embellies. And this is how I split my designer series paper up. Now, if you're just a card maker, you don't need to have 12 by 12 anything, then cut it all. Oh my gosh, I know this sounds terrible, but do it. You know what? There's always more paper. Keep going. Now, if you didn't have the luxury of grabbing a Stampin' Up! Pack with this little design on the front, you're going to have to pick your papers and figure out which ones go. And you're going to want 3 or 4 different solid cardstocks. These work for your background shadows in your embellies and your accent pieces. When we start cutting out embellies this week, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so this I'm going to save. And I'm going to put that, and I'm going to keep this cardboard because this tells me what coordinates. So when I go to make my simples, I know which ones I want to work with. Always is handy. If you don't keep it or you can't find it, it's always in the catalog. So don't worry, either the online catalog or the in-person one. All right, so I have these ready. This says you want to cut 4 by 6, and I want to cut them all. All right, so let's move this out of the way and bring in our trimmer. Oh, notice this is here. This is where this stuff is going to go when I'm done cutting it, right? All right, so I'm going to take 2 or 3 pieces of this. 3. And I'm going to put this in here, and I want to cut this at 4 inches, right? Now you have to think about this. Which way do you usually make your cards? Do you make your cards in a horizontal, or do you make your cards vertical? I just did the total opposite of what I said. Horizontal, vertical. Which way do you go? Because the way you're cutting your paper is going to matter. So if I'm going to cut my paper this way, then I like to use vertical cards. If you like to use horizontal, you're going to want to cut your paper the other way. If you're not really sure, I go with the horizontal. It just tends to work out better for me that way. All right? And I'm going to cut it at 4. Come on, get out of here. And I'm going to cut this one at 4. You can see how quick this is, and the reason it's great to do this is because then when it's time to put your cards together, you're not messing with the colors. And then this is a 6. And so is this one. Remember, there's always more paper. So if you did cut it the wrong direction, or you think it would look better the other way, I kept more over there, right? So no need to worry. So there's that. You can see how quickly this goes. And then this one, same deal. I'm going to flip it and go this way. And I'm going to go at 4. What's nice about this is there's no little, I don't have to worry about inches or quarters or eighths or anything. You're just going to cut these into 4 by 6s. Super simple. These are going to fit great on your Joy mat. Again, now if you're not using the Joy, don't worry. I don't want you to feel like you have to go out and buy a Joy just to do these. You can use the regular mat, of course. They're going to fit there fine. The reason I talk about the Joy so much, no, I'm not. I don't get anything out of the deal, so it's not like I'm selling you something. The reason I like the Joy is, especially for card making, it just goes so quick because it doesn't have to load a whole mat. It just loads in the little pieces. Again, you'll see why I like it. And if you've never used a Cricut before, this is a great opportunity to see if it's for you. It's the same software that uses the big machines or the little machines. So now I'm just going to divvy these guys into their piles. So I get them all together, and I end up with 2, actually I'm going to end up with 4 of each of these patterns, I think. Yep. Right? Now you don't have to take this time, but it just makes it easier when you're thumbing through them to not have to go through this whole collection. So then we have these, and these, and these. And look at the backs. You know, they're great. Okay, so there's that. Let's do the same thing with this. And you're thinking, well, I guess it doesn't take that long, really. It really doesn't. It goes super quick because you don't, it's kind of mindless. You can do this while you're watching TV. you are just getting these divvied up like you're playing cards into little pieces that are going to work when it's time to make your embelly. And what's great about this is you don't have to cut anything to fit the mat. You don't have to worry about it. It is good. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to take this and pop it in here. Right? So there's that part. They fit right in there great. Now, let's look at this. I need to do my cardstock. I'm just going to grab one piece of each cardstock. They may not match up, but you know what? I don't know how many I'm going to do. And I can always come back to these. I'd rather not cut up a whole bunch of this stuff and then have to deal with it. So I'm using cherry cobbler. That was one of the options. Soft crumb cake. This is soft sea foam. And this is soft suede. Okay, so those are my choices that the paper told me coordinate with my designer series paper. And now these, I'm going to cut these into 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is basically I'm cutting it into fourths. So I'm going to take 2, and I'm going to go to 5 1/2, and then I'm going to go back to 4 1/4. Hey, Susan, 4 1/4 is going to be the biggest width that will fit on my Joy mat. How are you? Hope you're having a good Saturday. One more. Sometimes it's easier to just cut each page. I try to hurry and then it doesn't really like it. There, 4 1/4. So sometimes you're not really saving time by doing that. All right, so there's those. Divvy them up again, like you're dealing cards, right? Let's do one page at a time. 5 1/2 and 4 1/4. Oh, nice. Football day, huh? All right, I hope you have good weather. It's beautiful here. 5 1/2, and I am almost done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut some card bases. So again, I like to have all the measuring stuff done ahead of time. So there's that. Now I'm going to, so I've done this one. I've done this. The only thing I have left is the card base. I'm going to fold this baby up and pop it in my case so that the next time I need to make another. And I make these for all my designer series paper that I have in the house. So whatever I have gets cut up and put in here. You can put a label on if you want, but it's kind of easy to see what's in there because it's nice and clear. And there's that one. Now I just need my card bases, and then I'm ready to go get some embellies and start cutting. So I'll do that later today. This is your, now remember I cut these for horizontal, so I'm going to cut these cards for horizontal. I'm going to go at 5 1/2. Although you could use this either way. And then I'm going to score too, because I don't want, again, I don't want to pull this trimmer out later. So I'm going to score at 4 1/4. And then these guys are all ready, and they can just sit in a nice little pocket, nice little pile, ready to go, right? So then when it's time to create cards, I don't have to think. I can just go ahead and pull this stuff out, and I'm ready to do the fun part, right? So this is a score at 4 1/4. So then I'm going to end up with 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card fronts, which will then fit the embellies beautifully. So there's that. And I'll do a bunch. let me just show you how cool this is. Now, whatever the embelly SVG tells you to do, you can decide which one you want. You're going to peel off the, and this is the cardstock. You can see how this fits just perfectly on here, right? 5 1/4. I could have gone to 5 1/2, but then I'd had kind of leftover funky stuff. The SVG will cut out of this. The embellies are designed to cut out of this size paper. So I make sure that you're not going to be in trouble. If you cut it, it's still going to work. The designer series paper is going to fit on here nicely. And you are ready to go. Super simple. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you all later this week. On Monday night, we'll be making some embellies live. And I might be here later on, too. Have a great weekend. I'll see you soon.